Hey everyone, this is Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology, and today we are going to continue our exploration of Venus's big week. Venus has just trined Neptune and is now moving into an opposition with Pluto. What we are going to do today, after spending some time yesterday looking at the Venus-Pluto significations, we are now going to turn our attention to what it might mean that Venus is moving so seamlessly between the trine that she made at the end of Cancer to Neptune and Pisces, and then immediately into an opposition with Pluto and Aquarius as she enters Leo. So we're going to talk about that transition and what that transition might be about. That is our goal for today. Before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Share your comments and reflections. We love hearing from you. Transcripts of any of these daily talks can be found on my website, which is nightlightastrology.com. I want to bring your attention over to the website right now so you can check out the live talks. Go to live talks page, Uranus and Gemini, a conversation about this major planetary ingress that is happening next year. That is meant to prepare you for the changes to come from that major outer planetary ingress in 2025. I'm going to be doing that talk on July 18th from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I would love to have you all there. It is when you register, if you can't make it live, you get the recording afterward. And don't forget, we do have a speaker series this month, all free to attend. You get the recording if you can't attend live as well. So check all of that stuff out under the events tab on the website. All right, now let's turn our attention to the real-time clock where we are exploring this interesting transition that Venus is making. And today we're going to talk specifically about the transition. What might it mean that Venus is heading right into the opposition with Pluto off from the trine with Neptune? So let's back this up a little bit. So Venus, Neptune. The trine between the two planets. This takes place on Thursday, July 11th. So that's today. That trine then moves instantly into an opposition. So if we just move this forward just a touch, within hours, also today, Thursday, July 11th, Venus then moves into the opposition with Pluto. And then between today and tomorrow, July 12th, Venus will oppose Pluto. So we are going from an exact trine to Neptune to an almost instant opposition with Pluto. And the question is, what does that mean? We've taken time this week to look at Venus-Neptune in a vacuum on an archetypal level. We've done the same thing for Venus-Pluto. Now let's talk about the transition. So 5 things to watch for given this transition. One is that Venus-Neptune suggests connectivity. Venus is the natural planet of harmonization, and Neptune the planet of unity, mystical unity, emotional unity, that sense of timeless, unitive, subtle, energetic connection. That's Neptune. When you feel like when you're outside and you're laying in the sun and you just feel this tranquil sense of being connected to nature, to the wind and to the sky and to the sun and to other people and the birds. And there's just this sense of like a flow. And it's not usually raised to a super conscious level. It's sort of subtle, which is necessary for you to be able to flow along with it. That subtle sense of interconnectivity is very Neptunian, especially when Neptune's in a water sign. Add Venus in Cancer to the mix in a trine. Trines are of the nature of Jupiter. Jupiter is a natural connector and builder of unity. That's why Jupiter-Neptune transits are often so lovely. They both point to unification. So when Venus and Neptune get together, you have this sense of connectivity, seamless connectivity. What happens if what you connect with immediately has a consequence? Let's just give an example. This is a really exaggerated example, but let's say that you have this unexpected, beautiful encounter with another human being, only 2 minutes later to realize, oh, they have a boyfriend, they have a girlfriend, that they're right here. Right. And that could be a disaster, or it could be painful, or it could be cathartic. I'm making up this example, of course, but what you connect with, what you seamlessly, beautifully, subtly, emotionally connect with, given Venus's trine to Neptune in an immediate opposition to Pluto, it's like it has this intense consequential signature that comes right with it, right on top of it. So this picture of beautiful connectivity immediately hits a catharsis afterward. So pay attention to that sequence. That's the point. Now, I say a connection that creates collateral damage. That might be a little extreme. A connection that creates a consequence, a sense of connectivity and harmonization that instantly creates upheaval or the need for deeper, more profound, and difficult transformation. Good things often bring difficult consequences. Positive things, exciting things often bring difficulty alongside of them because you have to change to accept what they're bringing in. Number 2, a dream, a vision, a longing, a desire, a fantasy that creates a powerful shift in relationships. I'll never forget, when my wife and I were visiting my mother in Michigan one summer when we were living in DC, and we were out gathering herbs. And I just remember my wife being like, I love the Midwest so much because all of the herbs that I've spent so much time studying are all here. She's an herbalist, but much of her knowledge comes from many of the plants that are indigenous to the Midwest here in the United States. And then we started talking and dreaming and getting inspired about potentially moving back home to Minnesota, where Ashley's from originally and I grew up. And so, and Ashley has a lot of family here and I have friends here and so forth. So we were like, oh, yeah. Well, that dream, that longing, that imaginative spirit that captured us that sunny afternoon gathering herbs in Michigan created a powerful shockwave of change in our marriage and our relationship because we had to close the yoga studio. We had to move services online. I started a YouTube channel and we moved. So I'm imagining a shift like that when I think about this kind of simultaneous trine to opposition, Neptune to Pluto. Yes, what are you dreaming of? What are you desiring? What are you longing for? What is appearing as the balm for your soul or the salve that you you need? Whatever that is, it is here presenting itself in a sort of idyllic, beautiful way, but then immediately it requires that shifts be made. That's how I'm putting these together. Number 3, inspiration and healing followed by catharsis and upheaval. One of the most beautiful signatures of Venus Neptune, as I mentioned earlier this week in the video we took a look at with Venus and Neptune in an archetypal, kind of under the archetypal magnifying glass. We talked about that as a transit that has the potential to be like a gentle rain that soothes, that heals. Sometimes it's a deluge of emotions that also heal, a powerful release of emotion. Whatever the case is, that sense of inspiration or healing that is so Venus in Cancer, such a gentle, nurturing, compassionate, sweet sign, connecting with Neptune and Pisces, such a mystical, unitive, subtle, timeless, imaginative sign. You connect those things and then boom, Venus goes into the opposition with Pluto. Whatever inspires you, whatever heals you, even though it's going to feel good, will require an immediate kind of Plutonian death and rebirth, especially in the realm of relationships, friendships, love, sex, marriage, etc. Number 4 is, unless, by the way, Venus could rule something very specific in your chart or be moving through a very specific place in your chart, and that will create more specific scenarios than just, say, love and relationships. And that's what makes it hard to be super comprehensive when it comes to how the significations may show up, because let's say Venus is heading through your second house. Well, it may actually have something to do with finances, So you get the point. Always check your house location. But now another one on my list is a delusion that creates major drama. Now I say delusion because Venus trine Neptune, although it can be imaginative, inspiring, healing, connecting, harmonizing, soothing, it can also be about delusions of grandeur, projections of fantasies onto other people, and or longings or desires that are not rooted in or grounded in reality. That in turn can create major drama. So a delusion, a fantasy that's not grounded immediately has some kind of consequential impact. Venus to Neptune, boom, Venus to Pluto. So think about that. Number 5 would be things that have existed in subtle, hidden, or secretive spaces coming to the surface. So remember, Venus is under the beams of the sun, gradually emerging as the evening star. Venus hitting these aspects from an unseen and still invisible place could also mean that there are processes that have been working behind the scenes subtly that are reaching some kind of fever pitch. Things that have not been seen, that are behind the surface, that have been working in secret, that have been working in the unconscious, um, are coming to the surface. Now, the reason that I say that in this sequence is because Venus Neptune in a trine is often, no matter where it is, but especially when Venus is hidden under the beams, it's about subtle things that are being connected behind the scenes. It's like when you can start to feel that something's shifting in a friendship or a love relationship, and it's shifting in a way that's like better, but you haven't yet spoken it out loud. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden someone goes, "Hey, things feel different." You have that moment where you go, things have shifted. Do you feel the shift? And then you both acknowledge it. Sometimes in that moment, what happens is then once you acknowledge the subtle shift that's taking place, ooh, when you have to then handle it in a way that's more overt, when it's moving from subtle to gross, when it's moving from implicit to explicit or hidden to seen, Venus Neptune behind the beams of the sun has more of a feeling of something that is subtle, connecting, maybe positive, maybe inspiring. It's moving in a place that's a little, it's like water that's just gently moving on like a stream, and you could easily lose track of it. But then Venus hits the opposition to Pluto, and it's like, yeah, something has shifted. What is it? And that could be a big conversation that requires a little bit of work, even if the shift that's happening is good. You still have to do some excavation. So a lot of the times when positive things happen, they still require that there be some work. It's like saying, "Oh my God, I realize that I will be so much happier if I organize this closet." You know, I know I'm going to be happier. It's going to help me. And you kind of realize that I've been letting this thing go for too long. I got to do this thing. It's going to make me happier. Great. That's like the Venus Neptune part of it, that the connection that's made, that's smooth, that harmonizes, that it feels fortunate. But then Venus opposite Pluto, in order to reach that space, you're going to actually have to clean the closet out. You know what I mean? So those are some things to watch for. I am recording things on a holiday week where I'm prepping to go away with my family for a little bit. So videos are a little shorter this week, but hopefully no less impactful. I hope that this is useful, and we will see you again tomorrow to begin unpacking the Mars-Uranus dynamic, which is coming on the heels of all of this. Holy shit, Okay, have a good one. Bye.